Thoughts are gone, thoughts don't care. Ghosts in my head, thoughts that tear. F941239 branded on my file before I was 5 years clear. They all said the same shit. Better not tell, kid, it'll get way worse in here. Even the real kids whispering threats while their parents steer. Born in a folder, no crib, just a case number and a hearing date. Pills crushed in my juice, respiratory waves turning toddlers into a court case. F943 anxiety, F90 poison, separation ink they used to label me. Now those same codes turned into calibers, letters load the AR-15. 5156 for the panic attacks, 9 for the snakes, 223 for the mess they made. Leave me alone! This is perfect Christian home. Still feel your husband's hands on my neck. Leave me alone, night shift worker, keys rattling while you're proud the heart. Leave me alone, caseworker with the crocodile tears. You got paid while I starved through it all. Starved through it all. We the invisibles, aged out the system. No feelings left, just facts and mathematics. Hypervigilant, heart rate flat, rifle fluent, pistol fully automatic. Grown now, pulling up, packing. Only lesson we kept is right from wrong. Now wrong, getting corrected. 30-round hymns in a real dark song. You built a monster, fed in trauma, now the monster got drums and a mask. Every face got a name, every name got an address, every address getting dead. Ever one fresh meat, still crying for mama, think reunification real. Level 2, bounce like trash, learning roles in every house they make you feel. Level 3, chameleon bag, never unpacked, visible just enough to read. Level gray, master read a lie in the blink, route around rules in the street. Level 5, invisible state, on ghost file too thick for any worker to read. Sleeping fragments, exits mapped, made it out so low they know you a different breed. We the invisibles, aged out the system, no feelings left, just facts and mathematics. Hypervigilant, heart rate flat, rifle fluent, pistol fully automatic. Grown now, pulling up, packing. Only lesson we kept is right from wrong. Now wrong, getting corrected. 30-round hymns in a real dark song. F94 through a 5 pop 6, F93 to a full auto switch, F94 to reactive, that's why the AR twitch. 9 millis for the snakes that smile in your face, 223s for the nights they said this hurts me more, while they finish the chase. Every code they wrote, every caliber, every lie became around. Every better not tell turned into a reason. We outside right now. Seen kids get walked out the back at 3 a.m. Staff pockets, fat, no sound. One phone call, file closed, another invisible. Never found. They pray we don't delock forever or read the barrel in despair. But the ones who survive remember every smell, every room, every stare. Thoughts are gone, thoughts aren't care. Ghost in my head, thoughts that tear. We the invisible, aged out, fully loaded, no fear, strapped heavy, heart on zero. Just a pulse and a plan. Right from wrong is all we know, and wrong fit to meet the whole fam. Pulling up quiet, windows down, 30-round lullaby. Invoice for every tear, every touch, every read, better not tell. This is the correction. Pred's gone dead. 2, 2, 3, good night. Little by little, by little. There are so many in this life, they have given up the fight. They were here just yesterday. Now,
yo, this is for the fighters on Equal and the Same. Stand tall, America. Rights ain't a game. 80 strong. CPS down. Let's ignite the flame. Born in the land of the free, hardcore to the bone. Eagle on my chest, Constitution my throne. From the back roads of freedom to the city lights bright, I stand on my rights day and night, ready to fight. Government overreach, nah, I draw the line. Bill of Rights, all my Second Amendment shine. Ain't no warriors, breaking barriers down. Disability rights, wear that crown. No ramps, no access, we rise and we roar. Equal under law, demanding more. Hardcore American, fist to the sky, fist to the sky. Stand on your right, stand on your right. Never comply, never comply. Support the ADA, hey, hey, hey. Let freedom reign, freedom reign. Abolish CPS, abolish CPS. Clip their wings, equal and the same. Podcast truth we claim. United we stand in liberty's name. In liberty's name. Whoa. Rights forever. Whoa. CPS never. CPS storming in, tearing families apart. False claims and power plays, breaking every heart. Kids ripped from homes, no due process in sight. We abolitionists rally, turn wrong into right. From the farm to the courts, we expose the lies. Parental rights sacred under American skies. They a backbone for the blind, deaf, and bold. No discrimination, stories untold. Wheelchair rebels, mental health nights. We grind through the system, igniting the fight. Hardcore American, fist to the sky, stand on your right, stand on your right. Never comply, never comply. Support the 8-8, let freedom reign, freedom reign. Abolish CPS, abolish CPS. Clip their wings, equal and the same. Podcast truth we claim. United we stand in liberty's name. In liberty's never. Listen up, patriots on Equal and the Same. We talk real talk, no shame in the game. Rights ain't optional, they're etched in stone. Haters shields us, CPS overthrown. From sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Hardcore forever, wearing that crown. Truck stop philosophers, courtroom gladiators, podcast, evolutionaries, truth liberators. Stand firm on your ground, don't let them invade. Aid of justice, CPS brigade. We're the voice of the voiceless, to fight in the dark. American hardcore, leaving a mark. No surrender, no retreat, we own this land. Rights in our blood, united we stand. Hardcore American, fist to the sky, fist to the sky. Stand on your right, stand on your right. Never comply, never comply. Support the 8-8, let freedom reign, freedom reign. Abolish CPS, abolish CPS. Clip their wings, equal and the same. Podcast truth we claim. United we stand in liberty's name. In liberty's name. Whoa. Rights forever. Whoa. Fade out.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me on Equal and the Same. It's 3/7/26, and my name is Henry Martaccio, and we're about a program trying to teach the ADA, Title II, Title III specifically. We do draw into Title I because, again, ADA allows you to go to Title I and use theories of accommodations and theories of modifications, or not modifications, sorry, theories of transitioning in the whole nine yards. Modifications is Title II, Title III. But anyways, tonight I was thinking about showing you something because I had my stomach turned. And with my argument is basically I'm being told to go to an HR department to deal with their Title I designated responsible employee. Some will argue that they if they have a policy and that person has the effective training on both sides, not only on the human resource side, but also on the public's general disabilities, which I don't get how, because your effectiveness to learn each policy and procedure to understand and how to determine whether or not discrimination is occurring, has occurred, or can be remedied, can be corrected for the present and avoid the future possibility anytime the interaction takes place. Yeah, so I mean, I was tooling around and basically I saw a video of my capital, and you guys got to realize that you're supposed to be compliant since 1990. I don't want somebody's opinion of what I might be entitled to. I want to know what I'm entitled to, and I'll make that decision. That's what the whole purpose of the ADA guy is to give you empowerment and into the interactive process, because it is an interactive process. And unlike the typical way that the courts operate in the civil procedure, because everyone can be a liar and nobody's held accountable, it becomes a fact of you're wrong underneath the ADA, because the ADA has clearly been federally funded. So by taking the money, they must adhere to civil rights laws and civil, policies and procedures that protect people in society from discrimination. And effective communication is one. Access is another. You can have technical barriers. The list is just goes on and on and on. And again, on the application of the disability, I had this week somebody tell me they were in Texas and they were being told, but the lady was nice. She said, "I'll look into this matter." To me, that's a stall out, because to me, when somebody stalls you out and says, other than saying, "Here, Mr. Martaccio, here's that mandated technical published paperwork that you've requested," and that's everything from self-evaluations to transitioning to anything. This has to be open to the public for examination, and it has to be decided by what modifications by the ADA advisory committees. And guys, I always scream about 2004 Rikers Island, but it's a whole theory. So if that was the baseline then, and everyone's saying, "Oh, Henry, geez, settlement agreements don't act for anything other than that state." Yes, that true is true. But when it's a 20-year-old policy and procedure, and again, the burden is on them to see why they haven't hit the mark like other states have found it to be discriminatory. So that's why they opened the program, service, or activity for the modification for that disability. This person has anxiety from the courts. Totally get it. It's a hard one. His argument was all court proceedings should be videotaped so I can go into it anytime. And I think that's a true statement. I think all courthouses should be videotaped and recorded to the general public. It's why it keeps everybody honest. There was a time in this country where you didn't have to lock the doors on your house. Then it became you had to lock it. Then you had to get the freaking security cameras. Then you had to get, laser beam freaking whatever they're doing now for technology. You break a beam and it silently lights off an alarm. It's crazy what we have to go through today. But anyways, I'm getting off the beaten path again. So that's what I wanted to show you was this video tonight. And then hopefully I can get Darren to come in because there's some fireworks going on, guys. And again, I'm not one to fight, don't want to fight. I think it's shameful that this is even going on because again, it just shows the government that they can infiltrate, separate, segregate, and make us fight each other instead of fighting the root cause of what is going on. One more thing too, I guess. The war. I'm sad to see it's going. It looks like it's just the beginning, guys. I don't want to call it that way, but I pretty much am. So I'm not being psycho. I'm not being nothing but cautious. Doesn't hurt if you got an extra $20 a week to start blowing on canned foods, proteins, vegetables. So you have a nice little stockpile. But anyways, things are not looking good. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's get into that video. I think it's here. Nope. Settings. Nope. I can't believe I gotta call in Darren to show me how to do this again. This is crazy. Settings, video, shortcuts, profile, shortcut. Head camera, no. Oh man. I don't see the button to share a video. Oh man, that sucks.
Henry, the little square at the bottom next to the camera.
That's what it. I only got microphone and camera, and then I have settings. I don't have the square.
So go in settings and look in there.
I did. Let me reduce it. Maybe that's what it did. All right, got it now. I had to reduce the main screen. Sorry, guys. Technology suave ain't my thing. You see the guy up right now, Darren? Gonna play.
He's got no audio, Henry.
I have audio, man.
Is it the volume up?
Yeah, it's all the way up. I'm gonna do is I'm sending it to you now, and then whenever you can get it loaded into the system, okay. This is the second time it's done it, so I'm gonna stop sharing. Darren, you want to also throw up a link for me? That'd be greatly appreciative, guys. We want to have like an open mic night type thing, and be able to have a little communication in the neighborhood. Because I got another phone call this week, and it's again somebody out west, and the same problems. And I continue to tell you, if you find you are going to the HR department or the designated responsible employee, or nobody knows, and those are the words you got to say. I'm looking for the designated responsible employee for modifications of policies and procedures underneath the American Standards Act Title II. And if your complaints in regards to a Title III GAL or even a marshal in the place, or the law librarian or the clerk, whatever it might be. So again, it's a fact of your right, your 14th Amendment right. Is it a due process that you should just throw in the trash? I think it's one of the stronger ones because, again, they have certain mandates in regards to addressing discrimination and offering the modifications. So one is, you identify, but I know there's an affirmative responsibility for them. They won't identify that. We have identified it in national training centers. You go to Great Lakes Training Center, look at some of their illegal webinars for the subject. And again, you'll be able to get right into it. Yeah. So, all right, there it is. Anytime you're ready, I'll shut my mouth. And again, guys, this is about them asking for
Here to testify in favor of Senate Bill 374, and would ask you to take a look at potentially expanding the scope of it. We put that program in place, I think, about 5 years ago, starting with Troop E. It's been successful, and we've expanded our crisis program to allow basically the mental health professionals right along with police officers in situations where we deem it appropriate.
Essentially, the idea being that police officers are routinely, mental health as well, but folks who have addiction issues. That is the underlying cause of why they're dealing with the police, whether they're committing crimes, causing disturbances, etc. And is the idea basically that these representatives from DMIS and other social workers and recovery specialists are with the police officers to try to do the follow-up from that immediate incident going forward, try to get them in recovery so they don't have these constant interactions?
Yes, I mean, they'd be there to de-escalate the situation, to ascertain the conditions of the individuals, and to prevent them from ending up going into the judicial system and becoming a statistics. And so we have BH Care in our region, which does that kind of work. And what they have said to me in the past is so often we have people with mental health issues and addiction issues that end up in the criminal justice system, which is really where they shouldn't be. And then we are struggling to try to get them out of there and try to get them appropriate services. So this would almost be a direct diversion from that. So rather than putting them into a system that they may or may not get help in, you have these clinicians with the police officers that are able to redirect them into a system where they're getting help rather than being arrested. What we have found in our local community, which is not governed with state police, that our local law enforcement is finding that it's a useful tool for them to use. However, they have to rely on federal grants in order to be able to put the policies in place. And so what I would suggest is we look at expanding this program for our local communities, because right now the only ones that could avail themselves of this program is our state police force. And so at the same time we're trying to expand it statewide for all of our state police, I think we should take a look at providing a program for municipalities as well.
This is something near and dear to me. As you all know, I worked with one of our colleagues from the other side of the aisle from West Hartford on very similar legislation last year that is beginning to come to fruition. In the municipalities, are you suggesting essentially like a grant program or a funding source from the state to those municipalities that engage in this? And can you talk about financially, fiscally, how that would be such a good return on investment for Connecticut taxpayers?
Yeah, I think it would do two things. Our town in North Branford never would have put money into this program if they didn't have that federal grant. They now see the value in how the program has been so successful that they may try to keep it even without the federal money. So they're looking to try to incorporate it into their own budget. I would think this kind of seed money for municipalities would have that same effect. I know budget times could be difficult, but if we propped up a program that allowed for communities to get in and at least start the program initially with state funding, it might then have these communities adopt these programs permanently into their budgets. And so right now, as a state, we've seen the value in it, and we've really tried to prioritize this, so we put more money into it. I would hope that this would have the same effects for our towns.
This bill, for every year that I've been here, has made it out of this committee, and it fails in appropriations. And bottom line is, doesn't get funded. So I think from the humanity aspect of it and recognizing that, individuals who are suffering from addiction, we need to get them into recovery, not into a jail cell, I think is something that the committee members historically, including last year, have agreed upon. Can you just touch on the fiscal part of it, though? In other words, we take somebody who is addicted and we put them in Corrigan or Rogowski or Cheshire. We're paying a lot of money to house them, and we're not helping them. Can you just kind of touch on how if the Appropriations Committee will actually take this bill up, or the governor will actually put this initiative into his budget, it can actually save the state money and the taxpayers' money?
Yeah, I think one of the struggles that we have right now, and it's not just people who end up incarcerated and the costs associated with it, but they also could end up in crisis and in a hospital bed. And we don't have enough mental health beds to deal with, and our hospitals are struggling to try to free up those beds for other patients. Getting the individual's help right at the point of crisis could ultimately save us money, just not only with corrections, but I think also with our healthcare system in trying to free up those beds. And so I think it's been so successful that we are putting more money into it. So we have 1.8 million put into the budget for next year. And I know the commissioner had submitted testimony in opposition of this because he's acknowledging the money is already there. But what I would suggest is that we look at expanding this to other communities that don't have state police. So we're not just prioritizing them, because I think this is a model that we should try to implement throughout the state.
Yeah, that's great. I think there's some 90 some odd municipalities in the state that have their own police departments, that don't use the resident trooper program or the state police. So I appreciate, and that, I was talking about corrections, but I think you're bringing up healthcare is a perfect example.
We have the crisis intervention teams in Waterbury, and they've been a tremendous success. They not only help the officer, obviously, who's we are all, somewhat trained in order to interrupt the crisis, but they come there, they also take a tremendous workload off the officer themselves, too. They actually take that person, they'll take the proper paperwork if they need to and take it, they'll go to them at the hospital and try to start, recovery of that incident to really hopefully get them back on the right track. We've actually expanded in Waterbury to, we now have youth crisis intervention teams too. So anything I could do to help support, I would gladly do so, because I think it's a tremendous program. Mental health, unfortunately, problems are on the rise, and we don't, like you said, we don't have anywhere to put them. Officers are dealing with the same multiple, people month after month after month there's no solution, there's no where to put them, there's no really way to help them and unfortunately the officer is stuck usually trying to deal with that mental health crisis, more than sometimes weekly basis. They're left to try to do a job that most of the time the officer shouldn't be doing. But unfortunately, it's part of the job. That's what a lot of the officers have to do. But again, I think it's a tremendous program, and I will strongly support it. Thank you.
I'm just here to testify in favor of Senate Bill 374, and would ask you to take a look at potentially expanding the scope of it. We put that program in place, I think, about 5 years.
Well, guys, I'll start it off with Debbie. Your lawyer asked why Chris wanted an ADA accommodation. That would actually be discrimination, because they're not supposed to know. Your interaction should be done in privacy, not in an open courtroom. Your accommodations should start before you walk into the courtroom. And actually, technically, if everyone else has access to court service centers, the disabled should have right to court service centers. The disabled should have rights to law centers. So again, educational access, whatever it is. I argue online. That's one of my bigger arguments, because with Nathan being, autistic, he doesn't know it's quiet time. And I use an iPhone for a sensory input and keep him entertained when I have to be in a public setting or a setting outside of the home. I can explain it. If we're waiting or stalling out, like if I run into somebody in town getting a pack of cigarettes from the country store, I'll let them turn around and play with it as we talk. So it's my diversion tool, I guess I would say, my babysitter. He's probably on it now, finishing up his cake, and it's all good. But yeah, so back to the whole craziness of why that lawyer asked was discrimination. And technically, I would have sent a letter to them acknowledging that what they did, and then say that, by federal law, you're asking for their non-discriminatory policies and procedures under Title III as a subcontractor for the state of Connecticut. The bar organization itself is the subcontractor for the state. I think it's a monopoly. Personally, again, we got to get down that road. We got to figure that one out. How the hell can they have a no compete clause for the legal dollars and also be the only ones that can make legal laws? So that's what's bringing me to this Vince guy in the video. One's a cop. You can see another one's a cop. I totally agree with their statement. I think some people, need drug counseling help and just basic human help. And we're learning that with our friend Darren, who's struggling for over a week now since he's lost everything. And it's again, these programs are more sensible to help people. Thank God he's got family that's letting him stay with him until he can get him on his feet and get rocking and rolling again with the system. But it's still, we're managing, and greatly appreciate if anyone can donate clothes, whatever, pots, pans, whatever we got, guys. Just box them and ship them. Who cares if it takes 30 days to get there? And again, you could be shipping this year's winter clothes that you don't want anymore. And if they got a little scratch in it, that's okay. We'll start off next fall with it and catch something on a sale or something. Get reestablished here. But anyways, he's getting harassed by the town. He's getting harassed by everyone. Feel bad for the guy. But again, what I saw today in the video that I just showed you was the fact that the ADA has been passed since 1990. My argument when it comes to the legislative office is who those people to determine what the disabled should have and not have access to as a reasonable modification, because clearly putting an officer with a psychologist or a social worker is a modification of the police procedures to help people with disabilities. But yet that should have been mandated by the designated responsibility employee of that police department. Should have said, hey guys, underneath the self-evaluation, the studies and data are showing when we take a psychologist and we interact with the police department and interact with people with a mental health problem, that they're more effective on the front line. And then my problem with it is that person could feel intimidated, threatened, because they're not used to the worst of the worst. They're probably some, holy grail person that says they're going to go out and save the world, and the cops are going to protect them. Well, they can go thumbs up or thumbs down. So in other words, if the scene's going ugly, okay, we got it. If it's not, you give that one glance and pretty much you're pounded on. And now they have a psychologist there to say the police have done no wrong because you were legally, mentally incapable of understanding what was going on, and we were licensed to diagnose on the spot your condition as an expert of a drug, because more than likely they're going to be drug trained. More than likely they're going to have training in family, because they'll start putting out a psychologist on the worst ones of the cases that again involved. We know that's happening too with family courts. A lot of them are family evaluators, are psychologists, just feeding the system. Because in my opinion, somebody's opinion without being able to prove in the fact is not a fact of law that can be entered into the courtroom. That's my opinion. If you think about it, it's hard evidence, physical proof before it's accepted as evidence. How is this person's judgment that, again, if that's all they do is walk around and go, yep, you're nuts, you're not nuts, you're nuts, you're not nuts. You should lose your kids. You shouldn't lose your kids. Come see me for 3 classes and you'll be cured. Type mentality. Again, they're not affiliated with hospitals. So by not having their own lab tests situations to prove their theories, like we're mice, because that's what psychology is, basically it's not true medical opinion without proving out the conclusion or the facts of the hypotheses if I'm saying that word right, hypothesis. Um, how are these people even qualified to be doing what they're doing? And they're making buco dollars because, again, the evaluators get to go see the children. What's that got to be? I know in my day it was $75 an hour. That's got to be 100.50 an hour now. Listening to a law talk program today, it's nothing now for corporate lawyers to be billing anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 an hour in the state of Connecticut. And what they laughed about it, and again, reasonable living means or something like that when they're charging and setting their prices, which he totally agree. They can set their prices anywhere they want, anywhere they want. And my personal opinion should be it should be a sliding scale, whether you have a disability or not. But if you have a disability, more than likely you're already on society's edge. You're already living off some kind of service program or activity, which makes you qualified. Um, and that's the ones they love to target because usually they're the ones that can't fight. Where if you got a Muffy and Buffy mansion, the maid ain't gonna rat on her employer that the kids are getting beat and raped and eaten. That's the new thing. Jeffrey Epstein made it the new thing. Which, man, I'm telling you, shit's going quiet on that front with the war. That's really irritating the hell out of me. It's really got to fire up on these children stuff. I believe I was seeing messages on the internet. I think tomorrow there's a rally in DC, or was it today in DC? I'm not sure. Been busy knee deep trying to get my federal removal, which I keep promising everyone. And I keep promising I want to put documents up on our website for everyone to read. But, learn the foundation. Again, I'm in the state of Connecticut. You can Google my name at the appellate court and everywhere and read some of my electronic briefs that are there for the public to see. Again, it's quick learning. You can Google my name. You can get how I did it publicly and purposely, because, again, you want public documentation as much as possible that they're discriminating, because it's going to be damn hard. Once you know the system's going down, I don't care. Record. I don't care even if your state. You got a right as somebody with a disability to stop the discrimination, just like a rape victim says no. It's no means no. And again, you have to identify to these people that you're being discriminated against. So you have to put everything in writing, and that's part of the undue burden that they get, Jan. I would seriously, use some kind of open AI source. I'm not the best person to ask which one. I have my own problems. But again, just to write daily notes of what's going on in your matters and what happened and, times and, it sounds stupid. Wrote a reply letter. So you got backups of everything. And that's the key, because over time you'll lose stuff or whatever, but it's all about having backups and keeping that data and evidence, because believe it or not, I ain't offering you an immediate remedy. It depends on what discrimination is, I guess. But you do have that 10-day rule to go federal. And now it's going to be a fight to go federal. And I hopefully have the argument again that the False Claims Act, that they're claiming compliancy and getting all this money. And yet it's fraud. But yet when we find it going to the contractors, and that's where you got the right to start seeing where the financial streams are. And once you start tying in the financial streams of the fraud, you'll figure out the whole system. And it really makes it easier if you got computers, because the computer power today, man, there's so many cases out there, guys. But the key ones is, again, Popovich, Tennessee Lane. You want to go in Rikers Island. Biggest thing is, I don't care if it's a cockroach sneezing in your state. If they got a freaking settlement agreement with the DOJ in your state, you get that. That's your Bible. That's your truth. That state has to adhere to everything that's setting there. And every agreement says administrative compliancy, designated responsible employee, ADA advisory committees. This is where it's got to pull. So without being able to use the training center's information, which the courts are not going to recognize, but I'm telling you, use it because they tie it into in their training through some cases in case law that these arguments have already been beaten on a higher level. And this is part of the ongoing stonewalling thing that, like the legislators, they want to pick and choose what extent to your modification should be. I argue it's an open door. Congress funded for an open door. Congress made it as a living, breathing civil right. So again, and it's supposed to be the quickest path to end the discrimination to ensure program success. Again, it's the context of the words and how they're arranged. But again, it's reinforced everywhere throughout the ADA. The state shall go out of its way to avoid discrimination. So, ma'am, how by asking me, what Chris's disability is that not discrimination? Do I look at you and say, hey, you look like a freaking diabetic? You want to go shoot up some insulin? No, you just don't make those. Those are private things. Or, if it's an older person, hey, are you wearing Depends? Again, did you have your insure today? These are all discriminatory things that is no different. So until you get the job description that says that person's in charge of taking that complaint, because again, they got to have certain effective training. By writing, they have to answer to a certain person who could lead to the overall administration's designated responsible employee. Do you understand what I'm saying now? So your contact points can have policies and procedures that does it. But again, how the person using the activity, program, service, or activity know where to find this information if it ain't publicized? How would a guard know? Again, if it ain't publicized, how would a marshal know? How would a court clerk know? How would a librarian know? Again, throughout the whole program and service and activity, you're entitled to modifications. So those would be my answers to these people in a long-winded story that, again, sorry, state of Connecticut legislators, you don't have the right to choose. It's an ADA advisory committee that belongs to the legislative office. You're implementing at the administration office. There's a whole nother advisory committee. Then you have the judicial, and then you have, again, towns, departments within, like social services, DCF, Department of Developmental Services. And no, the ombudsman is not the same position. Yes, an ombudsman has an affirmative obligation to know this as part of a civil operation of a program, service, and activity, because ombudsmen are supposed to bridge, in a way, another quick remedy of minor instances of day-to-day operations. I'm going to say where you need one thing. And again, they're offering you need a brain surgeon and they're offering you a foot doctor. You'd go to the ombudsman and say, hey, how can this even be? But you're already there in the middle of a service. So that's what the ombudsman's supposed to do, is remedy it fast. But what I'm saying, guys, is when we come knocking on the door, what's an ADA coordinator? What's a 28 CFR 35.107? What's a policy and procedure? Who's the ADA advisory committee? No, judges run their own courtroom. You kidding me? No, judge runs their courtroom. They're going to tell us what they're going to do for you. And by the way, what do you want us to do for you? No, you're supposed to give me a list of modifications for my particular disability, ma'am. Or even better, if you perceive me as a disability, please give me that list and identify my disability. You just can't say disability unknown. Who, again, are you a doctor? You got a PhD? How do you diagnose this? How you interpreting this medical data that goes for like the GALs and the attorneys and the whole 9 yards. Again, there should be a goal for working towards program success, and that's even getting your due process through the American Disabilities Act to achieve an appropriate order for you and your disability going through life using a typical person system, because you got to realize pre-1990 the laws never addressed us. After 1990 they were supposed to address us, but yet we still don't have a seat at the table, guys. If you can understand it that way, it really is sad to see, because again, I'm tired of somebody like a legislator saying, well, we're willing to do that, but I see the pro and the con to the way they're doing it, because if that psychologist does something in violation of your medical rights, again, who do you report to? Who do you go to and say, no, they just did something ethically wrong? And again, didn't give me opportunity. They said that was a undue burden against them for them to do it that way for my needs. And again, it's simple arguments, direct to the point. You're facing the discrimination on directly. Yes, you have a right to know what their training is. Yes, you have a right to know what their job description is. Yes, you have a right to know any expansion of duties. Yes, you have a right to know who your ADA advisory committee is, what they've done for minutes in these meetings, how they've come to self-evaluations, who did the self-evaluation, who was qualified to do the self-evaluation, and where did you mark on the goal at the end of the 5 years in the transitioning to non-discriminatory. So they give them 5 years, guys. Every 3 years, we get a self-evaluation. Every 5 years, that evaluation is completed. So you see how there's always a self-evaluation transforming. If you do the math, 3 and 5, it ensures that the system already should know and identify these things. Again, I should not have a legislator putting in a bill determining whether or not this should be funded. That's for the course of the ADA people to determine on the advisory committees to the legislative building that reviews any new bill. Because, guys, a bill hits the floor, and to me, this is discrimination. Because to me, when I say it's discrimination, this already should have been done, and this does not go far enough. Because again, the adequate prophylactic protections with strictest scrutiny standard is not being applied. We're going to see how it makes out, guys. And if we got the funding, we'll throw them in there a couple times, and we'll hit the inner cities. And again, what does it really cost? And this is what's sad about it, is why can't we have like a deputy cop that you just authorize almost the same power, but they don't have the lethal training. And I think you dress them a little different so they don't look like a cop, more like a medical person. And again, those would be your responders to a lot of the calls. And again, if they need super backup from there, so be it, because shit never goes wrong. I don't know. I watch cops. Shit never goes wrong until the cops show up, and then somebody has a deer in a headlight moment, and they decide, fuck it, it's all or nothing. Let's go for it. And yeah, so, but hey, Darren, I'm pretty much done with that talk. I want to see what's going on with you in last night's show, because I wasn't too appreciative of the shit I'd seen last night. And there's a poor girl, Natasha, in my state that he brutally whipped her too, verbally, live, leaving the courthouse. She didn't know she had to mark her shit ready. It's again one of those things where if you can't mark by Thursday at 4:00 in the state of Connecticut, you can't have your motions heard the following week. And it all depends on the courthouse. but I don't know. Yo, Darren, come on in. We never
Yo, Henry.
sight for the audience if somebody wanted to go out there and
What's
talk.
up, Henry?
What's going on?
Living the dream.
Can you post a little quickie thing for somebody who wants to jump on with a quick question? Because
Sure
there is
can.
no dumb question, guys. I'm not sure on I've never claimed to be a teacher. I don't want to be a teacher, and until I can get people like him to start, and he's catching on quick, interacting and pushing my mind a little bit more. And
Here
again,
you go, Henry. It's up there.
all right. So anyone want to jump in with a problem? Again, just come on in, or if you want to hear something new, or something that's applied to the ADA and how you gotta effectively beat them up to get the rights you deserve, come on in. But brother, that was a shitty show last night, man. I saw some abusive shit myself.
Yeah, you know, it was a hard show to do, man.
I kind of keep my distance. Dave, I like you and everything, but you become a hothead and you're a cannon sometimes. And yes, especially on a helpless woman. I mean, you want to have a fucking debate. I'm a guinea, dude. I love to scream and yell. That's the way we live. And so, anyways, it's again. But I feel so bad for Cindy. I don't think she's gonna see her kids now, ever again.
I don't think so either, unfortunately.
And you know why? They're going to label her incapable of reading people to determine whether or not they're safe to be around her.
Right.
Hence, that would be safe around the kids.
Right.
And again, they have the whole recording. They can sit a doctor down in that room. They can give the background on her husband's side of the background. You know, why they got a divorce.
Yeah, right.
You know, guys, you guys got to stop the fucking nonsense. It's got to stop with engaging people, man. Do it by writing. Do it as best you can. And again, it's just how it is. But
sure is, man.
Well,
Sure
what's
is.
up with you? How we doing? Are you all right, man? Any more recourse from Mr. Dave?
No, everything all was quiet today, so that's good.
All right. Well,
I
hopefully
mean,
we can.
you got to know that that was uncalled for, you know.
Right. Well, what lit me off was against Cindy. I know the one too that he did against Natasha, and the poor girl. She's an awesome girl. She means so well, and she's just like Cindy, just wants to be there and give in. But guys, as we're showing you, there's so many freaking nut jobs, and again, some people call me nuts. My friends call me nuts for doing what I'm doing.
Right. Well,
You know what I mean?
Right. They
Hey.
don't understand it.
When it hits your doorstep, you'll appreciate what I've done for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Until then, they don't
That's
care.
my answer to them.
Right. Agreed.
And it's nothing more, no ego here, bro. I would love to have a panel room of fucking people and us just talk about cases, case law, intent, what happened in one state could work for another state, and how they achieve stuff. Again, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Yes, can I show you how to make a legal argument? Yes, I can show you. Can we talk about it? Yes, I don't have a problem as long as it's something I've done. You know, I'm not
Right.
doing nothing more than I've already legally filed. And at that, I believe the DOJ I believe Congress ordered DOJ to give technical assistance and technical guidance. They didn't say laws and regulations. They said technical assistance and technical guidance on the development of the ADA. So that means we can now go into it.
Right.
Yeah, so
Just crazy.
what's going on in your world? How you surviving?
Yeah, we're hanging in there, doing what we can do with what we got, which is, you know.
If
That's
anyone's got any secondhand stuff, is there a way we can give up an address on your mom's house or a shipping place that we can ship things to you?
You know, I'll put that. Let me figure that out. Because where this shit went down like that and the way it went down, I don't know if putting out my new address is the best thing.
Yeah, I know. That's what.
Considering, maybe they may or may not have tried to blow me up,
Right.
So that's what it's starting to look more and more towards,
And
So
has anyone reached back for you on help, like major help in the town or the
nope,
city? No.
no, we got nothing, man. I mean, a couple of people have helped out with a couple of things, which I'm greatly appreciative for. Obviously, we're all in trying times and tough times, and the couple people that did reach out and do something for me, I really appreciate. Like Henry's doing some things for me, and Tiff did something really big for me. Dr. Fowler did, Justin Nicely did a couple things for me. And that's that, and that's let's see if I'm
And
forgetting.
here you are,
Becca,
selfishly.
Becca did something for me, like those people did things for me, and I appreciate it very much.
And I'm sure there's a lot more going to come too soon. But yeah, I mean, it's like, here it is, guys. Here it is. His world is totally gone. One day you have everything, and then the next day you just got your underwear. It's crazy. And the worst part is, like he said, it's all frozen. You can't even get to it because they put so much water on it, and then you have to go. Well, bring it to a laundromat if you can salvage and get the smoke smell
Right.
out.
I mean, that's 20 years worth of stuff. You know what I mean?
And I know from contracting, that's like fucking big dollars to have them do the smoke removal out of
That's what I used to do. I used to do that.
rooms. Oh.
Yep, that used to be my work. But yeah, that's 20 years worth of our life just poof gone. Everything.
And again, Mary's a girl small, lady small, and extra small.
Make and hula hoop through a freaking Cheerio.
Somebody's got seconds, pots, pans up
Yeah,
in Maine, and you want to get rid of some furniture or something because we're going to need that too soon because we're working on things. So at least I say get a temporary house.
Yeah, I mean, we're gunning for trying to get a like a fifth wheel or something like that to put on the property, and then
Right.
monitor what goes on over there, for rebuild purposes or whatever. So that's the direction we're going. But I mean, it's like hitting
with
brick
you,
wall.
you could save money and you can do the cleanup yourself if you already know how to do it all.
There's not much cleaning up, Henry. There's not much to clean up there.
Well, you still got to scrape everything up and throw it in a dumpster to start rebuilding a foundation.
Yeah, well, that's what a bulldozer's for.
Yeah, no, they would actually take it right back down to the foundation and then start.
Like I said, that's what a bulldozer will be for.
Yeah.
Because there's not much at all. And then what little bit there was, the town is keeping us off the property for whatever reason. And so now it's snowed and rained and all this shit for the past 2 days. So damn well that anything that was worth a shit is ruined from that because everything's still wide open.
There's no roof.
Right, there's no roof on the house, so shit's just coming right in. And they don't care. They're not letting us get in there. They're not letting us do anything.
No doors, no roof, no nothing. So
I would definitely send them a notice, say, hey guys, listen, I need a date that I can get on that property. Let the fire marshal.
Already done. It's all been done. All of it's been done. You think that I don't just sit around and do nothing, man?
And by the way, this is a notice. I'm living in my camper or something on my property, and
Yeah, it's freaking.
Because you still got to pay the town taxes. Again, you got a septic system. We do it all the time in fire damage until the insurance company decides that they're going to have to fess up because it's a war. It's another legal war, guys.
Sure is.
Technically, the insurance company should put you up in a hotel, but again, it's a bullshit loophole under their policies.
Yep. We got $700 from the Red Cross for 3 of us to last for like 2 weeks or some shit like that.
Right.
For housing and food and clothing and everything, and we lost everything.
Again, how many people carry 3 months just to, side money just to have in case of an emergency?
We did, but that was in the house. So
right. That burns up too. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm talking like in a CD or whatever, and something you can cash out.
Well, I don't know. If you've been watching this stuff, they keep saying that the banks were going to crumble, so we took everything out.
Yep.
We didn't want that bank collapse to happen, and like what they're saying and everything. So we had all of our money out of the banks, and then we weren't expecting our house to burn down. So it sucked.
Mm.
That's a
With the
double-edged
war
sword.
shit too, it's not helping much either right now,
Right.
because that's going to be another financial impact coming
Yep.
up real quick if people don't get it. Again, I say recommend you got $20 extra, man. Start stocking up on some canned
Yep.
food, because we all need chicken and canned fish just to survive.
I don't know about canned fish, Henry, but you can have your canned fish.
Tuna fish,
Hey,
sardines.
you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a
Probably.
fish.
Hey, listen. This when we were caveman days, sardines was the first preserved freaking fish out there.
Yeah, well, we also used to drag women around by their hair during the caveman days. So I mean, we've come a long way.
Now, I think if shit hits the fan, it's going to become Mad Max, anyways, bro.
Well, I'm in deep shit because I don't eat tuna.
Well, that's my feeling, but
Yeah,
I guess nobody wants to come in. Is it me and you on
Peanut
here
butter-
tonight? But
peanut butter and jelly. Peanut
know?
butter jelly time.
I know you got stuff to do, and
Love me some peanut butter and jelly.
well, I mean, I don't know. I don't have much tonight to say to anyone. I thought the two people who called me during the week would have jumped on. Yeah. So,
Well, yeah, that's that.
I mean, it's 8:45. We've been at it for an hour. I got my point out though. To hopefully everyone understands now what I'm talking about when the ADA is there, and these people cannot decide what your disability rights are or not. It has to be done through a policy and procedure. Period.
I'm gonna put my in case anybody was trying to do anything. I'm gonna put my Cash App back up here, because they were having trouble. They were having trouble sometimes with that other one. So I also have this one right here. Use this one. Try this. For you guys were having trouble with the other one. G. What is it? It's hold on a second. Jesus Christ. It's up here somewhere. Hold on. DGENP. 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 There's try that Cash App. If you guys try to use the other one and it didn't work, try this one, because this one does for sure. Like I said,
That's
everything.
technology I don't understand. I know.
Yeah, you're stuck in the Zelle world.
Yeah, well, that's just because my bank offered it. I didn't even know it was offered. I didn't even know, dude. I was cash and carry all my life.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you get stuck in a burned down house and you're cash and carry.
Right. Like you said, I've been waiting for the great crash, man. I went through it in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. It's a cycle, man. Every few years, it crashes again because I'm in construction. So, not like the stock market where it doesn't really matter. You make your customer money, you get money. They lose money, you get money.
Right.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
All based off of some assholes' projections.
Hey, if you can make it work, then make it work, man. Make it work.
There's enough for everyone.
Yeah, Louie and Susie, they've done a lot for me. Appreciate them. They're here. They're awesome. Louie actually went and borrowed some money from his 401k to help me out. So that was very cool of him. He's here right there. It's really awesome of them to do that,
Well, think about how many hours of free entertainment you give to everybody. You give this free on the restream, and thank God you got the knowledge on how to do all this stuff. Because
go start the truck. Yeah. Henry, I gotta go. One of the cats' throat just slammed shut. So I got to go. I got to bring the cat to the
All right.
emergency room.
All right,
I'm out.
but let us out. Good night, everybody. Sorry, he's had from the fire damage, and that's what we're talking about. It's ridiculous. 2 cats are still so unhealthy, and nobody will help them. So, good night, everyone.
For the fighters on equal and the same.
Next week, same time, same channel. Tomorrow night's Gunner Show, 9:30. Check it out. I'm not sure if Sam's going on tonight. Because Sam, there's an emergency. I don't know who's. Maybe Becca will let you in tonight, or you know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Can't help you. Talk to you guys soon.
Free, hardcore to the bone. Eagle on my chest, Constitution my throne. From the back roads of freedom to the city lights bright. I stand on my rights, day and night, ready to fight. Government overreach, nah, I draw the line. Bill of Rights, all my Second Amendment shine. They the warriors, breaking barriers down. Disability rights, wear that crown. No ramps, no access, we rise and we roar. Equal under law, demanding more. Hardcore American, fist to the sky, fist to the sky. Stand on your right, stand on your right. Never comply, never comply. Support the ADA, hey, hey, hey. Let freedom reign, freedom reign. Abolish CPS, abolish CPS. Clip their wings, equal and the same. Podcast truth we claim. United we stand in liberty's name. In liberty's name. Whoa. Rights forever. Whoa. CPS never. CPS storming in, tearing families apart. False claims and power plays, breaking every heart. Kids ripped from homes, no due process in sight. We abolitionists rally, turn wrong into right. From the farm to the courts, we expose the lies. Parental rights sacred under American skies. They a backbone for the blind, deaf, and bold. No discrimination, stories untold. Wheelchair rebels, mental health nights. We grind through the system, igniting the fight. Hardcore American. Fist to the sky. Stand on your right. Stand on your right. Never comply. Never comply. Support the 8-8. Let freedom reign. Freedom reign. Abolish CPS. Abolish CPS. Clip their wings. Equal and the same. Podcast truth we claim. United we stand. In liberty's name. In liberty's never. Listen up, patriots on equal and the same. We talk real talk, no shame in the game. Rights ain't optional, they're etched in stone. Haters shields us, CPS overthrown. From sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Hardcore forever, wearing that crown. Truck stop philosophers, courtroom gladiators, podcast evolutionaries, truth liberators. Stand firm on your ground, don't let them invade. Aid of justice, CPS brigade. We're the voice of the voiceless, the fight in the dark. American hardcore, leaving a mark. No surrender, no retreat, we own this land. Rights in our blood, united we stand.